There be no kind of peace like you beside me. No matter the rain, no matter the storm, I'm coming home.
Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. So today's video is going to look a little different than my normal video. So typically I would share with you progress on the house that we're building and things like that. Sure, you can all imagine building a house is extremely time consuming. It takes so much attention, so much work. So of course it is very easy to neglect other things, especially around the house, and things can easily get cluttered, messy, disorganized, so many things going on related to the house build. I've got samples coming in all of the time, and you guys know this cottage is under 1,000 square feet. So it is very tight living space. And on top of that, I've been doing a lot of hunting on Marketplace and doing a lot of antiquing. I have boxes sitting here of antiques that I picked up from Marketplace that I have to organize. And now that the weather has dropped, it's freezing at night and a couple of times even during the day. So Erin has brought all kinds of things from the house build inside so they don't freeze. You name it, we've got it. And it is long overdue for me to do a declutter, a clean, a clear out, just get everything reorganized, especially now that Christmas is here. So I already started decorating outside. Now it's time to move inside, and before I get anything out from the attic or put a single decoration up, I'm gonna give this house a complete declutter, a once over, an organize, a clean, and it's gonna feel so good. Just to give you guys an idea of what I'm talking about when I said our house can really quickly get cluttered and out of control, here's an example. All of these gloves and hats and coats and boots have a place out in the garage. They do not belong here. I mean, this is kind of for guests, but as you can see, things have started to pile up, and it's not just there, it's everywhere. So I have got samples that I have pushed underneath our pantry, but I've just run out of storage because, as you can see up here, my entire pantry is full of samples. I've got fabric, I've got ribbon that I picked up for decorating. I've even got some antiques that I picked up that I haven't put away yet that are just sitting here. I've got all kinds of random things that really just need to be organized and put away. So the first thing we're gonna be doing is organizing everything, putting everything back where it belongs, and giving this place a real good tidy up. So now that I've decluttered everywhere else in the house, the last thing I'm gonna tackle is this kitchen. So you can see we have open shelving, which I really do love, especially since we have such a small house. I love that everything is out in the open and I can just grab it easily. The only problem with that is it can also really easily start looking messy. So I'm gonna take all of these dishes down. I'm gonna give my shelves a really good wipe down and kind of store away some of the things that I'm not using every day. That way I can make room for adding a little bit of Christmas decor up on that top shelf. I also need to take a minute and deep clean and oil my butcher block countertop before we start all of our Christmas baking. I have been cleaning for hours and I've got everything done except for the living room area. So I am gonna be taking a few things out of here. I'm gonna be moving probably this desk out of here. I'm gonna be swapping out that lamp for another lamp. I'm gonna get rid of this olive tree for Christmas because I've got to bring in a Christmas tree and we just don't have space for 2 trees. I've got a couple of side tables that I'm probably gonna move around, and I'm probably going to swap out this painting that I did last year for something that feels a little bit more Christmassy or wintry. So that may be coming down. I've got a lot of books to remove and just basic cleaning and dusting and vacuuming to do of this rug. So I've removed a lot of things from this area. I still have the desk here, and I also have this plant. So I'm gonna move that up to the attic and get that out of the corner. Typically, I like to put an end table in the corner and then put a short little Christmas tree on it. So that's gotta go. The desk has to go upstairs to the attic. The clock can stay. And for now, this painting is gonna stay, but I might be taking that down in the next couple of days. I've made a lot of progress. And now for the fun part, I have a box, which to me is like an early Christmas present that I get to open today. It came a few weeks ago, but I have been waiting until I cleaned and decluttered to open this. I am very excited to open this box because this is something that I have been looking forward to getting and replacing in here for a really long time. So you probably can't tell from a distance, but all of my furniture is white slip covered sofa, and I have 2 ottomans which are in the other room, and I've also got these 2 club chairs which are kind of like a chair and a half. Now these are from a brand called Linden Street, and they are not compatible with IKEA or Pottery Barn or any of those other slip covered furniture that you see. And unfortunately, not only have the furniture been discontinued, but they also a couple years ago stopped making the replacement slip covers as well. And that is such a shame because I love my furniture. I purchased these when my son was in kindergarten and he is now a senior in high school. The furniture itself is in excellent condition. The frame of it is in great shape. The cushions themselves are down-filled, so they're in amazing shape. I don't want to replace the furniture. I just wanted new slip covers. I'm gonna flip the camera around and show you why. So when I zoom up here, you can see that obviously these slip covers could use a washing. You can see a lot of dirt, and that's basically from our 2 dogs that run through here and brush up against them. And normally I would just throw them in the wash. That has worked great for the last, I don't know, 12, 15 years. But I really didn't want to wash them one more time because look, they've started to disintegrate. So the fabric itself, you can see, is just coming apart on the arms here, on the front. And not only that, but if I turn this chair around, you can see that the entire back zipper has pulled out just because the fabric itself has disintegrated. So considering how old these are and taking into consideration that I have 2 kids and 2 dogs and that they have lasted this long, I think that's pretty remarkable. The only downside is since they discontinued these, I've had a very difficult time finding a company that made slip covers that would fit this furniture. So I've been looking for over a year for a company that made slip covers that would specifically fit this Linden Street furniture, which is what I have. So I am so excited because I finally found a company that make replacement slip covers, not only for the Linden Street brand, which is the furniture that I have, but loads of other brands as well. And they have a really large, beautiful selection of performance fabrics, which is what I need with kids and dogs and all of that. So if you're like me and you're looking to get your slip covers replaced, be sure to check out replacementslipcoversoutlet.com. So needless to say, I am very, very excited about digging into this box and opening up all of the new slip covers for this furniture and showing you guys what color I picked. because my cushions here are down-filled, I'm definitely gonna have to vacuum again. I can already tell that the quality of these, the zipper, all of the stitching, the fabric itself is by far so much better than the original slipcovers that came with this sofa. And if that lasted me 12, 13, 14, 15 years, this is gonna last me a really long time. So I am working on putting the back of the sofa slip cover on, and the reason why my old slip covers didn't look like slip covers, they looked like upholstered sofas, is because they had Velcro on the back, on the inside, so it would stick and you could smooth it out, keep it really tight, and it never moved around. And I wasn't sure if these were gonna have the same thing, and they do. They're made so well. This Velcro is really gonna help these stay in place. So I have everything all on, all the slip covers, even on the ottomans here, and it is starting to get a little dark, so you can't really see the true color, but I'm gonna insert some clips here so you can get an idea of the true color of the fabric and how pretty the color is close up. So I have been working a lot around the house, cleaning, but also just starting to decorate. First thing we did inside was set up this 9-foot Christmas tree. We had a lot of fun doing it last night. My kids helped me. We got a lot of ornaments on it. I've just got to put the finishing touches on. So what I've got done in the living room so far is I was able to, one, get the whole house cleaned. Then I swapped out all of my old ratty slip covers for these new ones. Then we set up the Christmas tree, and I kind of rearranged the furniture. I brought in these 2 side chairs that I found on Marketplace. And on this table, I added a couple of brass pheasants and this cute lamp that I recently found while I was antiquing. I really loved this lamp. I thought it was so unique. I love the brass, and I also thought this was a really cool feature that it has this little toggle where you can adjust the height, which is so cool. And though I really love the lamp, I've got to say, I don't particularly like this lampshade. So I think the size is perfect, And I also love the shape, smaller on the top and larger on the bottom. The only thing is I don't like this material. So my plan is to use some material that I picked up to make a pleated lampshade, and we're gonna get this covered. So that's what I wanna do next. The other thing you can kind of see behind me is I've hung a couple of brass wall sconces up, and I've got candles in there. You can't really see them, they're kind of washed out, but those are electric candles that are battery operated. They look realistic because they're made out of wax on the outside. So I've got those up, and as you've probably noticed, I also have an empty frame hanging on the wall, which I know is weird, but I wanted to take down the old picture that was up there and swap it out for something else for the holidays and for the winter season. So I found a digital download on Etsy of a really beautiful winter scene, and I had it printed on canvas. So that's supposed to get delivered today. So as soon as that gets delivered, I'll be swapping that out. So obviously, other than hanging up that winter picture, I still have a long way to go with my decorating. But for today in this video, I'm just gonna try and finish up this one last project, which is covering this lamp. So I'm gonna take this stuff over, get my supplies out, and get started. This is the fabric that I picked up for this lampshade. I love that it was green, so it kind of felt Christmassy. On camera, it's showing up green and white, but it's not. It's actually a green and a cream color, more of a tan. If we take it over here and I show you in a different light, you can kind of tell that it is a cream. It's almost exact to the new slipcover. You don't need very many materials to do this. I've got my shears, my fabric, a hot glue gun. I picked up some glue sticks that say that they're for bonding fabric, so those should be great. And I've got a measuring tape and my lampshade. So the first thing I did is use my ruler to cut this fabric to length, and then I laid it out, and I don't know how well you can see, but I just used pencil on the back side of this fabric to trace my 2-inch strips. That way I could just go down and cut it. Now this would be a lot easier if you had a rotary cutter, but I do not. So I just wanted to show you that pencil does work depending on the color of your fabric. If you flip it over to the back side, it might work, or you could always use chalk. So now that I have a bunch of these strips cut, the next thing I'm gonna do is fold over one side so the edge meets the middle and just iron it in place. One thing that you are gonna wanna note is if you've got a busy pattern like I do, or stripe, or maybe you've got florals that are moving in one direction, be sure to keep the fabric going in the same direction. That way, when you place your strips on your lampshade, you don't have some florals or like vines, in my case, growing up and then some moving across. So you definitely have to pay attention to the direction of the flowers or whatever you have on your fabric, and make sure it's all going in the same direction. So I've got a whole pile of these already ironed. You can see the back side, I just folded it over to meet the center here. Now I'm gonna iron the 2 strips that I cut to use as finish trim around the top and the bottom of the lampshade. I have both my 2-inch strips here, and I'll just show you on this one, I've ironed it. So I folded it both in towards the center. You can see that these meet in the center. And next I'm gonna put a bead of hot glue down here and press it together. That way I have a really thin band around the top and the bottom. Working on ironing everything, and I'm ready to start hot gluing this together. And while I was working, I heard the UPS truck. So I'm gonna run out there and see. I think it's my new print for my frames. I love getting art printed on canvas. And then my mom, she was telling me about a technique where you can take, and I can't even remember what it was, I'll have to call her. She told me that if you add this clear texture to a print that's on canvas, it makes it look like a real oil painting, especially up close, because you can see all that texture and the light hits it. So I'm gonna have to give her a call because I definitely want to try that. So I found my seam here, and this is where I'm gonna start. I'm gonna put a bead of glue up here and just attach the top and leave the bottom just loose That way I can move it back and forth. After I get all of these strips attached on the top, I'll go back and go around the bottom and attach these later. Okay, so I have my first one attached at the top. I'm just gonna let it dangle loose, and then I'm gonna go in and figure out how far apart I want these pleats to be. Because my lampshade tapers out, these do have to be pretty close together at the top, because if I put them too far apart at the top, by the time these spread out, this is gonna be too wide. So I don't want that to happen. So I'm gonna move this in just a little bit closer. So if I zoom in, you can kind of see how close I've got these pleats together. So if you're gonna try this, I highly recommend watching Mimsy's video that I found. It was super helpful. She gave a ton of tips, and at the very end of the video, it was funny because she talked about the reason why she goes into such great detail when she's giving a tutorial on how to do something like this. And it's because you want to make something that is a DIY project for, you know, all of us that are budget conscious, but you don't want it to look like a DIY project. You don't want it to look like a craft. The goal is to make it look really beautiful, like it came out of a high-end boutique or it was like custom made for you. That is the goal. The reason why I love DIY is those exact reasons. It means I can get what I want in my budget. It's so customizable. A lot of times you can make something that you cannot find in the store. And if I do find it in the store, oftentimes it's just not in the budget. So I love doing stuff like this. Since we've been building the house, I rarely get to do little projects like this, but I am definitely looking forward to doing more and more of these kind of projects as the house gets finished and I'm able to spend more time thinking about the finishes, which will be a lot of fun. All right, so this is how far I got before I ran out of strips, but I do have about half a yard of fabric left, so I'm just gonna cut a couple more. Okay, so that didn't take too long. I cut 7 more strips. I think that might be enough. Now that all of these are attached on the top, I'm gonna work on the bottom. They just kind of hang naturally. Basically, we just have to use gravity to let these fall where they would, make sure they're all going straight. And I'm gonna try and keep the spacing as consistent as I possibly can and tack each one with a little bit of glue. I'm gonna start back here at the beginning where I started, where my seam is. That way I know I'm running straight up and down. And I'm only gonna tack the right side. I'm not gonna tack this side. When I get all the way around, I can tuck the other one in and that rough edge won't show. So you can see I can still lift this up. I have all of the top attached and all of the bottoms. Now I just need to trim this off here and trim all of the extra off the top. Now that I have the top and bottom all trimmed, it's time to finish it off with a little piece of trim. So this piece here, I just folded inward towards the center and ironed it just like I did the other ones, only I did it on the top edge and bottom edge. And I'm just using a little bead of glue around the top and carefully pressing it in, making sure that I cover up all of the raw edges of the strips. Well, there it is. It's all done. I can't even tell you how much I enjoyed this. It's been so long since I've been able to work on a small project like this. And I just had such a good time. After I got the lamp done, I did go outside and check on my package, and sure enough, it was the print that I had ordered. So I took a few minutes and installed that into one of my antique frames and hung it up on the wall. Then I spent some free time in the next couple of days finishing up all the little decorations for Christmas and just focused on just spending quality time with family and friends and enjoying all the things that go on at Christmas time. We went over to my in-laws and had sleigh rides and had a couple of Christmas services, and we've just really enjoyed spending time together a little bit more low-key this year. If you follow me on Instagram, you know that I recently had to have a surgery, so I have been at home resting and recovering and feeling so good now that that is behind me. I just want to say thank you so much for supporting my channel this year. You guys have been amazing. There is so much to look forward to in the coming year. We are going to continue building our house, hopefully move in this year, which yay, after 2 years of working, we can't wait for that day. And I just want to say God bless you all and Merry Christmas, and I will see you all for a whole lot of DIY projects in the new year. Bye guys.